Hi, I'm Jen with PepperHarrow. Today I'm in our propagation house and we're going to talk about seed starting. The first seed that we're going to talk about starting today is Pennycress. Pennycress is a valuable filler here at PepperHarrow that we use in early spring bouquets. It has a beautiful texture and is a really awesome filler to stick in a bouquet in early spring. We love to mix it with anemone, tulips, ranunculus, all the early spring flowers. It looks absolutely gorgeous. So let's get started. You're going to start with your pack of pennycress seeds, and I'll give you a little bit of a close-up to show you what they kind of look like so you get an idea. Pennycress is a seed that needs to be started the season before. If you purchase pennycress seeds, plan on starting them in late summer in cell trays like what we have here. I have a 72 cell tray that I'm going to start my pennycress seeds in. Once I have those started in late summer, I'm going to take my transplants and transplant them outside in early to late fall to be able to have blooms then by that next spring. Or you can direct seed them to have blooms for the following spring. But let's talk a little bit more about how we get these seeds started. The first thing I do with my seed tray before I start my seeds is I get the soil a little bit moistened and ready to be able to take these seeds on. You'll notice that if you put seed starting medium in here, it's a little bit dry. So I like to take a spray bottle, or you can take a garden hose, whatever you have access to, and just make sure you can get it nice and moist in there to get your seed tray prepared for your seeds. Typically, you can feel by consistency and how heavy the tray is to kind of guide and judge how much moisture you need. This is feeling really nice, and it's not too light, it's not too heavy, it's nice and moist and ready to go for seed starting. I'm going to take my little seed packet here and put a few of these seeds in my hand carefully. Okay, now that I have the seeds in my hand, I'm going to take them and place them in each cell. It doesn't matter what direction you go. I usually just like to go the shortest route so that I know where I'm ending. If you go the long way, I always feel like I lose track of where I am. At least now I know I'm in cell 1. Occasionally I'll even make a little divot with my finger to kind of keep track of where I am. But this is the first step. I actually put my seeds on the soil first to start, and then I'm going to go back and lightly cover them. Okay, I'm not going to go do the whole tray. I'm just going to do 2 rows. I'm going to make a little indentation with my finger so I keep track of where I am. I'm going to pop in the rest of my seeds back in the little seed packet. Typically, I do about 10 trays at a time, just to give you an idea of how many trays I do here at the farm. 10 trays usually cover a 50-foot row for us. So now that I have my first 2 rows completed and I have my pennycress in here, I'm going to come in and just give it a light. I'm going to just push it lightly into the soil. I'm going to spray it with the spray bottle. It's going to slightly disrupt the soil to be able to lightly cover like we need it to do. So I'm going to go ahead and squirt and cover. Now that my 2 rows of my pennycress are ready to go, I need to make a label. So I'm going to go ahead and grab one of my labels that I have here. I'll link labels, all the things so that you have an idea of where to source these things, but markers, labels, spray bottle, all the things. We'll put a link in the bottom box so that you know where to find these. I'm going to go ahead and make my marker, my plant marker for my pennycress, just so I don't forget which 2 rows I put them in. And for me, if I do a half row, I like to put the tag, the label, on the side that I ended with. And I do it consistently the same way each time so that I know which 2 rows I ended with. So where I put this plant label, I know that that's the last row that I put this pennycress in to be able to keep track of it. The temperature pennycress needs to be kept at in order to germinate is 65 degrees. So keep that in mind. I like to keep a thermometer near just to have an idea of how warm or how cool it is for my seed germination. Occasionally, I'm trying to germinate seeds that germinate at different temperatures, but for the most part, 65 to 70 degrees is what I'm shooting for, and that's where many of my seeds that I need to germinate at 65 to 70 degrees. So in general, in that range, if you can have a warm enough spot with plenty of sunshine, your seeds are going to germinate perfectly. We recommend to home gardeners to put their seeds in front of a nice south-facing window. You're sure to get plenty of light. If you do that, you just need to make sure that you turn this tray around because your seedlings will follow the light source. You don't want your seedlings to lean too far one way or the other, so just keep moving it as it's sitting on a table or whatever in front of your light source that you're putting it in front of. If you have a propagation house or a greenhouse area where you can grow that's heated, we highly recommend you put in a grow light, and I actually have one here that we use. I don't have my grow lights in yet, but I'm going to show you. This is the brand of grow light we use, and we'll basically suspend this in air over the top of our seedlings. We do have a heater in here so that it is heated. If you have access to a small growing area that's heated, but no light source, we highly recommend just getting a little grow light. That will help your seedlings, that will help supplement your seedlings light that it has access to. And again, we'll put a link to these below in the below box. And again, we'll put a link to these in the below box so that you can see where to source them from. After you've kept your temperature at between 65 and 70 degrees, your seeds should germinate in 7 to 14 days. You'll start to see little sprouts come up and they'll start to grow for you. I usually let my seedlings grow for 4 to 6 weeks. I make sure that they're nice and ready and durable to go outside. If I can tell that they're in really good shape and they're looking very solid, I begin the hardening off process by taking this whole tray outside. I usually like to pick a day that isn't incredibly windy, does not have a lot of direct sunlight, and I like to stick it in a semi-shaded area with a cool breeze. This will help transition them into the great outdoors and make sure that they transplant successfully into the garden. And so I'll start one day with an hour, the next day I'll do 2 hours, and I just gradually get them acclimated to the outside. You'll notice when they're completely hardened off, when you rub your hands over those little seedlings and they feel a little bit more firm. When I start them in here, they're going to be really delicate and very tender. You can feel that. Once they're hardened off, they're going to be a little bit more stiff and solid, and that is what the hardening process is. That means they're ready to be transplanted successfully right into the garden. So you heard me talking a little bit about what you can use Pennycress for. We highly value it here at PepperHarrow as a cut flower to use as filler in early spring bouquets. However, we always have a surplus of it here at the farm because it actually grows wild. We cultivate a lot of it, but it also grows wild randomly here on the farm. So we'll go grab the wild stuff, we'll go grab any of the extra that we have growing in our cultivated beds, and we take it and we bunch it up for drying. And I'm going to show you here in a second what that looks like. So this is dried pennycress. It looks absolutely gorgeous. We use this a lot in dried bouquets for fall wreaths. We also use it a lot for wreath making in the winter time. I don't know what it is about this beautiful antique looking color, but it looks absolutely stunning, especially in Christmas wreaths, mixed with red and mixed with the green color from the greenery. It looks absolutely stunning. Adam says it looks like a Dickens Christmas. So keep in mind you can use pennycress both fresh and dried. I hope you enjoyed today's video about how to start pennycress from seed, and I wish you all success in growing pennycress in your own gardens. If you liked today's video, please subscribe and leave a comment below. And as always, thanks for joining and happy growing.